Welcome to Channel Demon Dalazon. I'm streaming Songs of Syx, and the purpose of this channel is to provide insight and knowledge on the game. Last stream, Stream 5, I focused on military, building an army, regional armies, and conquest. I also built education as well, being schools and universities. The point of this stream today is to build a temple and get religion on the go. With further ado, let's load the game. Okay. So, now that we have, from my previous stream, a region that has a rather tasty amount of gems, and me taxing the crap out of them for gems, I'm going to make sure that I can have the money from my gem empire to easily build my temple. Temples, depending on which one you build, can be actually very expensive. The primary reason for that is they need silicon ore, which is in itself very expensive. Let's just see if I have my temples unlocked first, though. Yes, I do. The Temple of Amunin is pretty cheap to build. As I recall, though, it requires living sacrifices, where you sacrifice random people. There's Temple of Athuri, requires jewelry to make. They accept silicon ore as offerings. Then you have Temple of Krator. It's pretty cheap to make, and I believe they take livestock as offerings. Before we pick a temple to build, let's first see what the most populous opinion is. I'm going to click all, click on religion. It seems most people are Temple of Athuri. Temple of Athuri also seems to give boosts to all of my industry. Temple of Aminon will give me a boost to submission, but there's not many people like that. Temple of Krator, or Krator, gives you boosts to your farming. However, once again, there's not many people in that. The majority of people are in Temple of Athuri, and my economy is based primarily on industry. So it makes sense that I would build a Temple of Athuri in my settlement. Unfortunately, the Temple of Athuri is also the temple that requires jewelry. It's very expensive to make. Not too much for me right now, especially since now I'm getting free gems. And I'm expecting my income to actually start skyrocketing soon. But let's start building that temple now. So, I don't know if it was my last stream or the stream before when I built this graveyard. But I said I built the graveyard with the intent of putting my temple here. Since I have... Am I importing wood? No, I'm not. But I have way too much wood anyways. I'm gonna get rid of this woodcutter because it's in my way. At worst case scenario, I could always just... Can I tax wood anywhere? Yeah, I can tax wood from here. Or I could conquer here and get better wood from it. Or especially here and get lots of wood from taxes if I conquered this place. I'm not so worried about that wood anymore. I'm just going to get rid of it because there's plenty of ways I can get unbelievable amounts of it. It's also going to release some workforce for me. There, I just caught something that's killing my OCD. Alright, so I'm going to have to let that be for a bit. There's flowers on this side, but not this side, and that's murdering me right now. Once that empties out, I'm going to fix that. Until then, let's start building a temple. Let's have a road go around, and we'll do it 3. Not 4, 3. There's something I haven't been doing throughout my settlement, is adding a lot of torches. Oh well. Alright. Let's make some beautiful torches. Yes. Oh, good. And then we have... No! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the middle. Perfect! That means right here is going to be the entryway. So let's mark this place with a statue. No, not yet. I'm just gonna mark it with a good road. That'll be good for a temple, yeah. Especially since there's some lights in the graveyard. The thing about temples in this game is they like to be big. There's a stat for them just simply being large. You see that in the space grandeur. So the grandeur is the sheer size of the room. And the space is the amount of, or lack of, clutter in the temple. So unlike these buildings where everything's tried to be put as efficiently as possible, you don't want to do that with a temple. Temples are the opposite of that. Oh, that's not going to work. Alright. So instead, 5 by 5. Let's try a little bigger. 1, 2, alright. 1 in, 1 in, alright. 1, 2, 3 would bring me there. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you can change the size of the altars here. Spread here somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, it's the same. I just need to put it up against the wall. Am I 100% yet? You might notice I'm putting them 3 apart. There's a reason I'm doing that. The reason being, as you can clearly see, I have 100% to the overlarge stat. My intention is to remedy that. With something as expensive as this building, last thing I want is for it to cost more. I'm also going out on my way to try to make it look good. Or at least a semblance of good. It is a temple to a god, after all. Why would you want it to look bad? I wonder if I'm gonna be able to. Okay. Gonna have to adjust this a little bit. What did I do? Was it 1 or 2? It's 2. If I did it this way, put it right on it. Not on these ones. I'm going to change this little alcove. Have to change these two. Haha, 0%. Ah, I see you asked that here. Just give me a minute to finish my temple, and I'll try conquering someone for you. So right now, we have a significant amount of services. I can service almost half my city. Decoration, grandeur, and space are 100%, so I could build this right here if I wanted to. I also put all those regular things down, so I'm just gonna put some extra ones just for appearance. I'm just trying to make it look good. You can also place torches, but I have too many places. Instead, I'm going to build pathway. And right now, none of this is actually doing anything for me. It's just looking good. Alright, so let's just build that there. I'm sure it's good. It's 100% and everything. I also have a grand building, so I'm going to need to buy a lot of cut stone, which I didn't build industry for, so I'll have to manually buy it. Then I'll have to buy some silicon ore. And as I was pacing out before, some statue areas leading into the temple. Yeah, it looks nice. Alright. So now I need to buy my cut stone. I need a ton of it. So that should do it. And I need about 500 silicon ore. And silicon ore is about 3 times as expensive as gems. It's probably the biggest cost item in the entire game. So you don't want to screw around with this too much. I'm going to overbuy a little. Okay. So we got some time before that temple finishes. As per request, I'm going to conquer somewhere. And you want the city sacked, I presume? So this armor is good. I'm going to find a target that doesn't give me much of anything I want. I'm going to sack Elevar Forest. I'm going to take my primary army and send that. Because we're figuring out what happens with them, I'm going to take a look here. I have 80 prisoners in my prisons right now. It looks like it can hold about 120. I'm going to increase my prisoners, actually. I'm going to double it. If I understand correctly, the prisoners should act just like a battle. So what that happens then is they should come in as prisoners and go straight to a jail. If you don't have a jail, they'll just walk off completely free, like you've never touched them. But we're going to test that theory and see if I'm correct or not. Because I've never actually done that to a city. So I don't know for 100% certainty whether I'm accurate. But let's find out. Right now it's sieging. I also need a little bit of time. Actually, I should make a lot more prisons than that if I'm gonna sack a city. Don't tell me I ran out of stone. Ugh. Ran out of about 1,000. Alright, that should do it. Silicon ore. I should have storage for that. Not in my main area, so I'll make it in my main area. Ooh, I maxed out my crates. What do you know? I never have enough of those. Okay, I'm gonna start exporting some gems. Not only am I overflowing with gems because of my tax, but I'm not getting gems for tax because I'm overflowing so much. My jewelers are at max capacity. My gems are just going to waste with tax. So I'll start selling gems. I got most of my ore. That's my prison capacity. I'm actually gonna double my prison capacity. This is gonna be very temporary. I don't really want this here. Come on, I know I got the jewelry. There we go. Now they just need to build it. Let's see if they still have that feature in the game. Yeah, kind of. So I'm going to put workstations right here. And you might have noticed, the moment I put down those workstations, this place started getting flooded with people. A workstation is sort of like a priority setter. In essence, the workstation, anything within this radius becomes a priority for however amount of people are in that employment area from 1 to 20. And if it's something that needs to be built, then this workstation basically becomes a building priority setter. So it does still exist in the game. That's good. And now that we have a temple, what do they take for offerings again? Silicon, was it? Yeah, Silicon. So whether they sacrifice Silathon or not, you can see that they already are. They'll get some degree of happiness because they'll just worship. But if you have your Silathon, they'll get much more happiness. But now that we've had a little bit of time, and I have double my prison capacity, actually 4 times the prison capacity of what I used to have. Actually, not quite yet. I'm going to wait for these to be built before I conquer that area. Workstation. Alright, I want 20 builders. Alright, come on guys. Build it. There. Okay. I've got a lot of people. Let's see if I can conquer this place. I can. Let's assault it. And we have sack. So what will happen with a sack is these resources will be sent to your city. I've never actually sacked or annihilated anything before, so I don't know. And you'll see your captives. Just like a battle, these people will go straight into your prisons. Or you can click annihilate. I'm a little iffy about doing annihilation. But I'll leave it to you. What should I do? Sack or annihilate? I'm leaning more towards sack. Okay, so GZ said annihilate, so let's annihilate. I'm kind of curious what happens anyways. I'm going to take those cantors. I'm not going to touch any of these races here, but I'm going to take some humans and some dwarves. I don't think I'm going to be able to get as many as I want. 80, 160, 300. So this will probably fill up my areas. Then I'm going to occupy it. I am rather curious what happens. Oh yeah, there's nothing. You can see the caravan here. This is all of our sacked resources. Or annihilated resources. And we have our captives that we selected to bring. As you can see, they are tagged as prisoners. So if I follow this guy, come on, let me follow you. I'll just have to follow you manually now, won't I? Speed it up a bit. And here's a prisoner. And he just walked himself to jail. So that's how sacking and annihilation works. Anything you select, they become prisoners. So before you sack or annihilate a city and you choose to take your prisoners to make into slaves, you should ensure that you have the prison capacity to do so. Else they're just going to walk free. How do I have so many Crotonians? Weren't they all set to be slaves? Yes. Okay then. Because I am interested in the settlement now, I'm going to see what happens to it. I've conquered it. Let's push it to growth. Let's see if they grow. I'm suspecting that they'll grow. Yeah, they are growing. Okay. So if you annihilate a nation, eventually it will grow back. It'll just take a much longer time because you don't have the city in there, so to speak. You can think of it like everything was just destroyed. It looks like that. Here's the caliber. So that is my tribute from the looks of it, or better said, my sacked materials. I think. So where's my... I figured I would have had a lot of resources here by my throne from annihilating that city. But I do need more admin now. Where is my admin? Oh, here it is. Well, hopefully that was educational for learning how sacking and annihilation works. I learned how annihilation works. I've never done it before, and that was exciting to see. However, the purpose of this video today is actually about religion. Now we've had some time for our temple to be up. Let's see what's happened to our religion in town after I free some slaves before they start. Oh. Oh no. So it looks like the majority of my prisoners walked off because for some reason I have a lot of Kryptonians in there. I was pretty much full before I started. That's a bummer. I also lost some Kryptonians, but not that many. Not as many as you was. I would suggest, personally, if you're gonna sack or annihilate, have at least 1,000 slots, at least, for prisoners available. Let's look at our temple. Our temple isn't getting as much service as it needs. Or better said, uses. Perhaps it's because people are too far away. But that's okay. I don't care. Looking at the religion stat, the religion has, as you've seen, grown a fair bit. The faith is growing. One thing you'll notice, and this was confirmed by Jake a while ago, if you have only one temple in a city, over a long period of time, I'm talking decades of in-game time, the people of the other religions will convert over to Temple of Athuri. You might not see this in this stream of videos. Yes, it takes that long. But, yeah, you can technically become a zealotrous nation. Not directly, though. You can't go out and kill anybody of any other religion yet. Whether that's going to be an added factor or not, I don't know. However, you'll see the bonuses here under religion. This gives you a 5% bonus. However, the more people you have worshipping that religion and the more service they get from it, the more bonuses you'll get. So this gives you 5%, but right now we're looking at 17% in actuality. Let's take a look at some of our industry. The ration maker, for example. It's gone up. And it doesn't look like the religion has changed that, so anybody working in there must not be religious. Let's try to find one that is. Oh, there you go. It's showing blue, which means someone in there is religious, but they're not religious enough to get any bonuses. Wow. Okay, so I probably don't have near enough religion happiness in this to make a difference at all. However, people are significantly happier because now they're having their religion trait, as you can see it keeps going up. For some races, like cantors for example, this is a very important trait to have, as they don't have very many things that can make them happy. And as you see, if you click back and forth, their faith is significantly higher than my humans or Dondorians. So for cantors, religion is very important. And cantors only really like the top type services. They won't go in the graveyards or mass graves. They'll only go in the crypts. They won't sleep in apartments or dormitories. They'll only sleep in chambers. So that's something that you need to keep in mind when you're dealing with cantors. You have to give them basically hero status. Because let's face it, they are heroes. Especially on a battlefield. You can't match them. Cantors also like, as far as I recall, grand buildings. Let's see if I'm correct in that. Yes, 100% for grand buildings. The only type of building they like. Which is good, because I made my temple out of grand. And I have 30 employees, so I'm going to take my cantors. Actually, no. I have my cantors training in military, so that's not going to matter. However, that does actually complete the purpose of the video. But we got about 20 minutes left over. Anything you guys want me to look at while we have some time to expand on anything? While I'm waiting for a response, I'm actually going to build a throne room so I can remove and replace this ugly little area. Okay, so I'll just build the throne room and possibly a fortress for the next few minutes until I've reached my 1 hour mark. My previous videos have been a lot longer than I would have wanted. It's easy to do since this game's so awesome. But it's something I really do need to get under control. I'm looking forward to start my non-tutorial build. What's this? The ceiling. Need to make sure it's all gone. No, I'm gonna build this with grand walls. I'll have normal walls outside. You'll notice I'm building with just a 2 wide wall right now. Actually, I'm curious whether that can work. I'm going to put some stairs right here. Normally in my previous games, before stairs on a wall, before walls could be mounted, you used to have to build walls basically one layer at a time if you wanted them thick, or else people would get stuck or not be able to build. I'm curious now whether if I have walls with stairs on them, if they'll be able to go on that wall and build anything in the middle. That's something good to test. Whee! Oh. This isn't nearly as grand as normal castles I build. Not by a long shot. But this is just a tutorial stream at this time until such a time comes when I deem the stream complete. Alright, so let's see what's said here. Unfortunately, for some reason, my chat doesn't show in my game, so I have to tab out and check every now and again. Yes, as I was saying yesterday in my stream, the region and city populations are two different pools. You can't look at them as the same numbers because they're not. I have multiple screens, but my dashboard or my stream manager for some reason has a massive delay, or it just simply doesn't input your chat most of the time into it. I don't know why. I see some of the chat, but not all of it. The only way to get all of the chat is actually to alt tab out of my game and check the program itself, which is rather annoying. I even have a chat section set up on my scenes. It just doesn't show up. It's rather frustrating. I would have played with OBS, but OBS doesn't operate well with Songs of Syx, because Songs of Syx operates in an OpenGL system, and OBS, when it opens an OpenGL system, it, according to Jake, commits a bunch of atrocities and creates basically havoc. It's a known issue that some programs don't interact well with Songs of Syx, and OBS, which most streamers use, is actually one of those systems that doesn't play well. I'm actually using a program called Gamecaster, and it seems to work quite well. The only downside is I have to alt-tab in order to see chat in its truest sense. I'm going to need a lot more of this. I'm going to buy 16,000. It's overkill, but I don't care. I have so much money, I'm laughing. There was a question on our Discord yesterday about floors inside a building that isn't a room. And what I mean by that is you have your walls and your ceilings, but you don't have a room inside it like a flat house or a janitor. The answer was there are no floors. However, you can sort of put floors in the way of roads. And I'm going to do that with my throne room here. So let's build some structures. And I'm going to take a grand building. I'm going to make this sort of like a H. So 10 by 27. 10 by 27. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like So there's 8 in here. And I'll finish the stream once I'm done building my throne. Since the purpose of the stream has been fulfilled. Let's look at religion right again. You can see the religion stats continuing to go up. Oh, yeah. The Temple of Aminon. Oh, actually, they had 32 before, didn't they? However, no new people were going there, really. Mostly it's going to a 30, because that's the only available. Let's see if any of our industry's working. While our citizens build our throne room. Actually, it's taking them a long time, so I'm going... Oh! Looks like it does, perhaps, work? It's hard to say. Oh, they built it already? Holy smokes. I guess I do have 622 odd jobbers. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I have the 2 open here, I always like to build my throne areas very, very beautifully. I don't know why. Probably because I think it's supposed to look regal. And instead of putting Dire Road in here, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to put Fancy Road in here. That way it has a different look to it. That and Cantors like it more. Cantors are best fit either in your castle/palace area or as professional soldiers only. That's what will make them the happiest. They don't really like much else. Let's see. Work. Yeah, see, I have them just as soldiers, and they have really high work fulfillment. Holy crap, so do humans. Mostly because I probably have a lot of libraries, and humans like that kind of thing. Alright. This is building a lot quicker than I thought. Of course, I'm used to building something 4 times the size, with moats. Throne. Let's put the throne in there. You'll see the floor sort of matches the throne. And you can see you have kind of like a floor inside of this building. So if that's the workaround. I don't really like that because I forgot that thrones were 5 wide. You can't actually change the size of thrones. My OCD killed me here. Oh well. This probably isn't a city I'm gonna take a picture of. No. There. Here we are. Create my treasury. this treasury, I'm going to put nothing but Silithon ore. Also something to note in case you weren't aware of it, although I'm pretty sure you're probably aware of it, but I'll point it out anyways. Each race, maybe not all of them yet, but each race has a ideal storage item. And if you click equipment here, you'll see if you click on humans, if you have a lot of gems, that gives them happiness towards their equipment trait. Cantors don't have such a thing. Neither do Cretonians. Dondorians like Silithon ore. Meat for Garthemes. And Talapis also like meat. So if you're ever wondering how to kind of squeeze out a little bit more happiness in your equipment, depending on the race, just have a large stock of a particular item. Unfortunately, at this time, Cantors don't have such a thing. I do believe that there is plans to do that, however. We have one guy here. But as before, this isn't still an EA game. So it's not yet completed. When you build your castles or palaces, I do suggest if you're OCD like me, build an odd number, not an even number, because your throne is 5 wide. You can't change that. And it's bugging the crap out of me right now, but I'm not going to change that because this is just a tutorial city. It's not meant to last a long time. If you have an item you believe a Cantor will like, I actually suggest putting it in the suggestions section of the Discord. That's actually what happened with humans. I think it was in a patch 5. We had a debate where we wanted more items added because at the time, only the Andorians had anything, and it was Silithon ore. These two lines didn't exist. As we were just adding humans to the game, there was a lot of suggestions, multiple suggestions. I myself put in for jewelry, but it came up to be gems. So if there's a good item that makes sense to the race, just put it in suggestions and it might actually get added as the stat. As for Cantors, I can't really imagine much that they would like. Their lore is... I don't think there's anything here they would like. Maybe a weapon, but then they don't like normal weapons. They're basically the heavy hitters of the gods. So an item that might make sense for them probably doesn't exist in the game yet. Here we are, chambers. In my mind, a Cantor would like possibly a religious token or a holy sword, or maybe not a holy sword, maybe a magic weapon based on their lore. I'm not sure if Jake will add anything like that though. Yes, all these videos are all saved both to the Twitch, and I'm uploading every video I make to YouTube as well. I don't think there's actually much I can do now with the tutorial. I've covered pretty much everything I can think of. We've looked at military, we've looked at law, we went through administration, I believe 2 days ago. Workstations we did today, knowledge we did last night with the military. Entertainment, procreation, hygiene, all of these have actually been touched on now. And I'm just building my chambers now. As you can see, the chambers are the only thing cantors will sleep in. And I think only nobles sleep in them actually. That's something I haven't touched, is nobles. I'm going to take a couple minutes and go over nobles, because that's a question that comes up a lot in the Discord as well. To make a noble, first you have to click on your population. You can filter who you want to see. Because cantors have such a large health, they're the ones that are most likely to stay as a noble for the longest time. Every time a noble dies, the title doesn't automatically switch. You have to kind of keep an eye on the amount of nobles you have. So I'm going to look for the youngest cantor we have, 601. Now I'm going to make him a noble. To make him a noble, you have to first select him. And then there's this icon here under position. Click to elevate this subject into a position of power. Then you have your available sections. And if you hover over it, it kind of tells you what it does. For now, my economy is based on industry. So I'm going to do Master of Industry, and what that does is it adds a 10% boost to all the industry. You'll also notice as soon as I press that button, he got a purple cape. And what he's going to do is he's going to walk around throughout his life into individual stores and inspect the stores. Now that we have a noble, let's check one of my industries, my tailor. You'll see that it's a little higher than normal because, as you can see, the second line, the noble. There's nothing there now, but over time it will possibly reach 0.35% depending on how many visits they get. Your nobles are based on your title. If you select your stats section here, you can kind of track that. Your subjects is everybody you control on the regional map. Your citizens, they're the people in your city, and from the looks of it, it counts the slaves. However, for the purpose of getting these titles, slaves aren't counted. So that's kind of weird to see that. They should have citizens and slaves, but it looks like they just put them together. And then I have one noble. If you hover over each rank, a lord will allow you to appoint 5 nobles. A king will allow you to appoint 10 nobles. By the end of it, if you're able to get emperor, if your computer will let you get the population to do that, the max nobles you can appoint is 20, which is pretty much everybody. In my own opinion, cantors make the best nobles because they live for thousands of years. Chances are they're not going to die on you unless there's a battle and they die in battle. We could do Master of War, Master of Pain, Battle. Let's see, don't want farms. Ooh, Master of Forge. So metalsmiths and smithies. So now I have a Master of Industry and a Master of Forge, and both of those should work towards my smithies. Let's see what my smithies show. There you go. My nobility is up by 1%. With that quick touchdown of nobles, hopefully that answers any questions that may have been brought up about them. If you have any questions about nobles, now's the time to ask before I close the stream. Nobles also generally like to sleep in chambers. I'm going to quickly make sure nobody else can sleep in chambers, so only my cantors are. Okay. So this should work for 8. I don't have enough. What I should do is repost one of my cities. I like to take pictures of cities I've built for aesthetics, and I save them to my own personal Discord. I should take my city that I've actually have the best throne room in and put it in the gallery. But I'm just going to quickly go through here to see if there's any other videos I can make. So we've done farms, we've done husbandry. Haven't done fishing, but we don't really need to. I think everybody understands fishing. We've done a hunter. Cannibals. I don't have a race that likes cannibalism. Well, I do, but they're slaves, and I don't want to make slaves happy. I don't care about that. Basically, they kill random humans, and I do say random because it's random, and they turn them into meat. Races that don't like cannibalism are going to hate it. So you're playing with fire when you do that. Mines, as you've seen in my playthrough, mines are kind of useless. They do have a use. I don't mean to say they're useless per se, but you don't need them. If you're early on in the game and you don't have the money to buy any resources, then they could do you some good. But as you see, I've never built a single mine. I'm rich, I have armies, and I can only get stronger from here. Refining, we haven't done much refining. A little bit. But I don't believe much needs to be taught on that because it's the same concept as industry, which was touched upon greatly. Woodcutters were touched. Warehouse. Transport was learned, which I'm actually using to upkeep my army, and it's actually quite nice. I've never used it before this tutorial, but it's quite nice. So it doesn't look like there's anything that really needs to be brought up in another video. So I could make another tutorial video and kind of wrap everything up, or I could take suggestions and look at what the most popular suggestions are and start building a city based on how you guys want to see a city built. Whether you want me to build it with a Crotonian focus, a Talapi focus, whether you want me to build in an arid region, temperate, whether you want me to build in an ocean-based setting or even a mountain-based setting. I could build for peace and harmony, or I could build for total overlording. I'll leave it up to suggestions. For now, I'm going to close the stream. For the suggestions, feel free to direct message me on Discord. On Discord, my name is Dalazon in Songs of Syx Discord. I'm one of the master builders that you'll often see in the gameplay questions and actions, or questions and answers section. Thank you for joining the stream, and I hope that you all have a great day.